Welcome to Sabor Astrology with T and Shay, a podcast for the soul. Today we'll be talking about the current cosmic energies. And without further ado, I'd love to pass La Taza to T for the transits of the week. Welcome, T.
Thank you, Shay. Hi, everyone. We're going to dive right in. And the first thing I want to talk about is the ingresses. On the 19th, what is happening? Sun enters Aries. Happy birthday, Aries. This is so exciting. It's the start of a new cycle. The sign of Aries, as you know, is represented by the ram. It's a cardinal sign, it's a fire sign. It helps get that spark going, starting new endeavors, and it's spontaneous, right? We all know spontaneous Aries people, and sometimes we view them as impulsive. It's like, have you thought about that idea? But no, they're just like right into it. Aries folks will get the ball rolling and they'll invite you to come along for the ride. Aries is the sign that in the cyclical nature of the zodiac wheel, it starts everything afresh. So it's about me, it's about birth, it's all about the I. It's like, I am here. Remember that the sun sign is the one we aspire to fulfill in this lifetime, so that we're working on it. So if we, sometimes I think that Aries people that I know don't even see that part of themselves. It's, like they're like, oh well, like I don't know if I'm just like that assertive into starting something new. From the objective viewpoint, that's what we do see. Sun in Aries people are trailblazing, they're unafraid, they're courageous, and they're spunky. These are people who are not afraid to walk out of a situation that is not to their betterment, to speak out, and they have this innate knowledge that they can get things done, and they do. So that's what I've got about Aries.
Yeah, Aries is, I would say, the blossoming tulips that is stemming from underneath the ground. We overturn the earth now from out of winter season to a spring season, which is lighting a candle, igniting a new beginning for us, especially in the zodiacal year. This is our new year, bringing in that light that the fires bring from the sun in Aries. And the flavor of this ingress, as I was again thinking about it, reflecting on it, was freshly baked cookies, like taking out that pan and looking at all the cookies that are there. They went from a state of liquid dough into these more solidified pieces. And this is a representation of this alchemical process that the sun in Aries brings to the new beginnings and the new year, in correlation to the sun and Neptune as well, which we will get back into, is that liquefying hardening of that cookie. So it can represent that sun in Aries. And I know it sounds very strange, but I'm giving that example as a way to think about alchemy, right? When we bake, we have all these different items that we pick out, and we're like, these are the things we're going to use, and we take each item and we put them all together to create something that's good, maybe that is beneficial. The end result is the part of the alchemy. Aries brings that in aspect of greater good and greater perspective, initiating things as well. So if there's anything that we are thinking about, this is a good time to start thinking and doing it, because the Aries energy will bring us into that space. After this sun goes into Aries, there is a lunar eclipse that starts to happen 5 days afterwards. So there's a lot for Aries that's going to be unfolding that is super powerful, a lot that's going to be about releasing in terms of relationships and how we've been relating in relationship to others, right? We're going to look at the self outside of the self and say, hey, I've been compromising myself in these areas, and the lunar eclipse is going to shift that for us, that perspective in different areas of our life. So it might look different for everyone and what type of relationships we're looking at. So there is this, again, this release and this new beginning as we are touching the lunar node so close to the full moon in Libra on March 25th. So that's going to be pretty big for us in the season.
And I just note that your Piscean poetry essence is coming through today. The way you describe everything with the tulips and it's just and the baking, describing the alchemical process is really very poetic. So I just want to notice that about you and thank you. So the first transit we're going to talk about is Sun in Pisces conjunct Neptune in Pisces, and that's from the 15th to the 17th. I see this as a very lovely, dreamy time where we can be creating all those beautiful things in life, going deep, being spiritual. We'll be struck with poetry just as Shayla is today. And we'll have canvases that are filled with beautiful hues. It's an amorphous type of a quality, a watercolor. That's the thing I see is the watercolor. I also have the image of it's an aquarium where all the fish love each other and they don't bump heads. I don't know. I've dealt with aquariums in my life and have not been very successful, although I just love the beauty of them. The other side of this transit is that if we can place a boundary on it, it's something to think about, right? There could be less ability to reflect. We don't see the shadows. Everything is just kind of amorphous where it's beautiful, it also, as we've said countless times, it's an illusion that can actually be a delusion. Is it true or is it not? So, my suggestion during this time is to take a grounding action or two, start that terrarium that you've been wanting to create, bring a little bit of earth into the mix here because it's very watery, very elusive. Make a vegetable dish that's tasty, that's healthy, in your cooking, the colors, the taste, just that beauty. It will fulfill that Neptunian part of yourself. But you're actually cutting, you're actually sauteing, you're spicing, and that's going to keep you grounded as you use the mechanics of yourself and not just go into the headspace of, again, I'm going to use that word the third time in one paragraph, amorphous, even though in writing they'll tell you never use that same big word three times or even more than once ever in your writing. I'm using it three times in this particular paragraph. So that's what I've got.
No, that's exactly the flavor that brings with this beautiful Sun and Neptune conjunction. And every year we get to experience this. So what we're experiencing today, at this time with the Sun conjuncting the Neptune is something we experienced before, but in a different, I would say, flavor, a different area of our life. And this conjunction will go exact on March 17th, on St. Patrick's Day. So we're going to feel it very potent during that time, though it starts on the 15th. So exact on March 17th. And the flavor of this beautiful transit is a powerful connection with the divine. If there's anything that we've been doubting, unsure about, rethinking, or overthinking, the divine is saying, I'm here to support you, however that looks, right? However the divine looks for you, is supporting us and the individual on a massive scale. And this is a good day to write, to pray, to embark in the things that connect you to what you feel is your divine. Everyone sees divine differently. And the divine is beautiful. And when the divine is beautiful, we also see that divine within us. We have to see that within us. And I feel this is the support system that this transit can give us. And we get to experience this again every year. So this year may look different than the year before. And the times that we've kind of let go of things too, because here you have Neptune. So it's like things are just being washed and purified for renewal, for vitality to really push us forward. Use this time to connect spiritually, however that looks like, and to do the things that make you feel good and that you can communicate, because this decan that these two planets are in is ruled by Mercury. So it's all about the things we have to speak, our thoughts. You see how overthinking can get us to a space of not moving, stagnation. But if we just be like, no, let's connect to the divine, there is support, and then move us forward into the right direction. It's a big transit for trusting the self and trusting higher up.
Okay, thank you. So next we're going to go into Mercury. Well, we're going to do two transits together. All right. Mercury in Aries is big at this time from the 18th to the 20th, and it sextiles Mars in Aquarius from the 18th to the 19th, and it conjuncts Chiron in Aries from the 19th to the 20th. And I didn't know how to separate these two out. Maybe another Piscean thing happening here, right? Where they just like have to go together. So Mercury in Aries is forthright and it'll be a truth teller as it sees things. The person with Mercury in Aries is unafraid. They loudly let others know what they perceive. And in sextile to Mars in Aquarius is unafraid, again, is warrior energy to talk about how things really are. Chiron in Aries has been unabashedly powerful from April 2018, and it'll be here until June of 2026, right? We've talked about Chiron and Aries. So during its retrograde, it had returned to Pisces for a short time in 2018 to 19, but it's back. I don't want to get into the details that are just going to confuse people, but for those who are aware of it, I just want to bring this in. So now with Chiron and Aries, this is a time for us to look within at the me and introspect on how I've been dealing with difficulties in life, right? The wound that doesn't seem to heal, or the old hurt that seems to heal, and then it pops up again when we least expect it. So for me, and I don't know, like I can't believe that I'm writing this down and talking about myself personally because I have a Scorpio rising, right? Scorpio rising people do not tell their secrets, do not talk about things, especially on podcasts. But for me, it's that old ACL tear that I got in the 90s when I was doing martial arts, actually. Like it just like tore my knee up. And so even now, like today, so many years later, it pops up. And when I'm not at the top of my health, it pops up when I'm not at the doing engaged in physical patterns that are really necessary to my well-being. It's also like Chiron and Aries, it's dealing with the illness and the death of my sister, and then like this year, I've encountered multiple losses. And I think, some of you guys know that my little chutney or little chutney, she crossed over the Rainbow Bridge. So what does that bring up? That brings up the old deaths, right? It's like we had a therapist once who said, a counselor who said, it's like when one grief happens, another one comes in. I mean, it's like the train comes in, is what I meant to say, doors open up and suddenly all the griefs that you encountered, they're right there, right? So those are some of the chironic things that I deal with. And we all know what they are for ourselves. Getting back to Mercury and Aries, speaking that out. And that's what I'm doing right now. My Mercury is actually in Aries, which is so like, I feel like we're embodying the transits, right? Shay, what do you say? Like, oh my goodness, this is so like amazing. And Mars and Aquarius is like, how are you going to go to the healing? How are you going to go to the healing? How are you going to take what you've experienced and bring that out into the world for healing as a warrior? As a warrior, right? And it's at all different levels. And it's interesting because I don't talk about that martial art background that I have, right? So that's something that I did years ago. And that's Mars, right? That's Mars being a martial artist. So like, how do I bring that out into the world? Um, in the Aquarian perspective, right? From an Aquarian perspective. And how do I deal with it? Mercury in Aries conjunct with Chiron also. So bringing those things two together, bringing those transits together and seeing who am I, where am I in this? And that's something for you to consider. So I'm bringing this to the table.
I love that. And to add to T's beautiful analysis, thank you for sharing vulnerable moments in your life, especially about grief, because that's a very tough topic to talk about. And with both aspect of Mercury being in sextile to Mars and then conjuncting Chiron, it also comes with the North Node, which is this is my theory. I don't know if people agree or disagree, that's fine. But my theory is that the North Node, yes, it informs kind of like the future, but in order for us to have an understanding of what can come up in the moving forward, we kind of have to go back. We have to revisit moments that were probably very hurtful. So then again, like that opening of the subway doors, we're revisiting the past. So then we can clear that train cart and then move forward. A train doesn't go backwards, but it does go forward. If you live in New York City, you've taken the train or somewhere, right? It moves you forward. So we had to step back to then go forward. And this informed the way that our mind is going to start releasing. There's also this push and this opportunity with Mars in play to do it. To be like, no, I have to face this fully on. Some of us might even feel that we might relate very closely to the pain and grief of the collective, right? So it's like we're stepping back to then step forward, and we have to learn how to release that through what I call, or what I've learned about Chiron is learning from the cosmic therapist, which is Chiron. It's there to teach us how to work through our pain, how to overturn our pain into powerful moments in life. So that's all we're doing. And it all has to do with the capacity of thinking about the self, about what has happened personally. And this applies to anyone that has Aries placements or Aquarius. It can manifest in the way that we're thinking, or it could become very internal. But it's important that during this time, we notice these things also from an objective point and being like, I'm here to learn from this grief and I'm going to push forward. Okay, so be kind to yourself, love yourself, speak about it, share it maybe with a therapist. Maybe this is when we start opening up to someone that feels like that Chiron, they can hold space for us. And then I'm going to bring in the lunar eclipse happens a couple of days later, and we're going into full power mode, release. We'll start to notice more of the releases that we need coming up.
Great. Thank you for that. Thank you. The last transit that we're talking about this morning is Venus in Pisces conjuncting Saturn in Pisces, and that's from the 19th to the 20th. First thought I got was Venus is kind in Pisces. She brings beauty, she brings healing, poetry, and artistry to our lives. Conjuncting Saturn in Pisces, I see this as a time where things are softened for us. It doesn't take away the harshness, the sense of rigidity or limitation, but it gives us an opportunity to align ourselves with the potentials and how we are to manifest them during this short transit. So, what I saw was a meditation with a focused question, which is Saturn, and allow your beautiful vision of from Venus to emerge. Open your third eye, however you do that. See what comes forth and write it down. And that this will be the initial manifestation of your vision, paving Saturn to help you bring this to construct it in the world. So I'm seeing this as that they're working together, that you're sitting down with a pen in your hand or paper, however it is that you write, and write down what you see and manifest it firstly on paper. You know, there's always limitations, there's always time, there's always, but those are things are all relative, right? We know that already. Time and space is relative. So know that, but you bringing a focus to what could be another amorphous time is really going to help the situation for you. At this point right now, we're both of these planets are in Pisces, and we're moving toward Aries. So this is all going to help you to move over into the new as you start your new cycle. So this is very exciting.
It's definitely a cycle of some type of commitment, very Saturnian in nature, and closing out on some things that we haven't been sure about, haven't been able to commit to. This can look different for all of us, but especially the cycle is ending. So then when we go into Aries season, we see things differently. This is a powerful time to consider checking in, especially with our loved ones, with those who nurture us and who we nurture, and who we consider part of our clan, our family, our system. And one needs improving in that particular connection. right? What is needed for us to maybe look at objectively and embrace, make an improvement towards expansion. So there's a lot here about even honesty with ourselves and others in our clan, and figuring out ways to make the relationship even stronger, or our connections. It will prepare us for how we can relate better in Aries season. It brings that in for us.
Great, that's wonderful. So that's what we've got for you for this week's transits. What are you doing, Shay, this coming week?
I am available for consultations in person, by phone, and you can read more about me, learn more about my services and what I offer down below. I will be linking my information down. And I just look forward to like Aries season. There's a lot coming up, so preparing for that. And if anyone needs assistance, just kind of reading about the lunar eclipse or how that will play out, please feel free to book a session and we'll get together.
And I too will be continuing to do sessions, right? Consultations. And yeah, I find myself explaining to folks who talk to me lately or that I love to do the astrology reading. And it kind of opens up a door to other information, right? I mean, the planets start talking, the doors open, spirit comes through, so that it's difficult to say, will I be doing tarot for you? Will I be doing oracle for you? Will it be mediumship? Will it be astrology? Because they all go together, and spirit will speak, and spirit will tell you what you need. So, what needs to be brought into the session, the highest good, the highest clarity, the highest light. So I'm definitely of service to you, open for readings too. And you can go to my website and book at teresavarela.com. So that's what I've got.
And remember, if our Patreon community, we have exclusive content there. We have the mysteries of Walter Mercado. We go in depth with his chart, his life. We also have Shakira, Carol G, and many more beautiful people that we share our knowledge about and analysis. So head over to Patreon to access that content. And remember, if you like this video, leave a comment below, like, share, follow, and share with the world. Share our voice, and comment. Let us know what you're thinking. And if there's anything you would like to learn in the next episode. Con mucho Sabor Astrology. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Sabor Astrology with T and Shay. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.